Right. Beep to you. Hello, guys. Right. Let's see if this works. There we go. Well, it should work, but hello. Hold on. Hold on, guys. What the jeebus going on here? For some reason, guys, it's not this TF Studio mode making it easier on me. For some stinking reason, it's not showing the camera properly. Yeah, because for some reason it fell. But that's not the thing I'm going to be testing. I'm going to be testing to see if I can. There you go. There's me. Hello. There we go. Do you know, guys, I've gotten used to the lesser computer equipment. Oh, hello. Somebody just messaged me. Hold on, guys. Yeah. Let me just check. Don't switch device. Okay, lol. What it is, guys, I sent my mate something. I sent, hi, if nobody asks about me, tell them I'm here. No, like, where people, they would go, I mean, over the years, somebody that they don't want to see, they go, if everybody comes from you, I mean, tell them I'm not here. Well, I've done the reverse of that. I've gone, if nobody asks about me, tell them I'm here. And he's responded with, okay, LOL. But anyway. I do like looking at things like that, I mean, where look at free. Oh, speaking about that, somebody was like trying to say, like, people are so used to grammar and they say, oh, it's got to be this way. But I fuck around with grammar. I would deliberately put things out of place and then put them in, because I see the English language as a way of having fun with it, because it is a mongrel language anyway. You know what I mean? So I fuck around with it, and because I'm dyslexic and all of that, so I know I'm going to get things wrong anyway because of my dyslexia. So I don't let it get under my skin. You know what I mean? So when people say, "Oh, you can't spell this, you can't spell that," so and because my dyslexia is not affecting me that much these days and so forth. I mean, and thanks to stuff over the years, like the glasses that you can buy, you can change the color spectrum and all that helps. And I've learned that it's also the balance in the brain and stuff like that, and so many things that I've found out, and I've used the knowledge to help me. You know what I mean? And I've started to, I mean, over the years, bring it down. It never really got in the way of my life anyway, but it's other people that have a problem with it. And I mean, I don't have a problem with it at all. But if others are going to be dicks, I got to check the food in a minute as well. I got food on as well. That's why I'm doing a tester thing right now. So, but yeah, also just give you guys a heads up as well. I have got a Discord going now as well. Let me just show you guys. No, you haven't. Yes, I have. No, you haven't. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, she's ugly. Let me come out of my private message with. I've even got a hidden idea section as well in Discord where I go and just hide in there and I come up with some crazy ideas. You know what I mean? But anyway. We'll we'll do this now. Oh, it doesn't allow me to show Discord, does it? Through thing, unless I do this. There we go. See? Yeah, I mean, this is brand new Discord, because, as my friends will tell you, I have a habit of deleting them in the past. Yeah, when I was going for like a dark patch, you know what I mean, in 2017 and all that, and which the police thought it was okay for somebody to try to kill me. You know what I mean? Got silence for you, please. And they think it's okay for people to cause me trauma and all that and everything else. You know what I mean? So stupid legal system. But luckily for me, I mean, I've got this wicked, in a good way, dark sense of humor. I mean, and I used to say to the police over the phone as well. You know, I mean, when they used to like mental health checks and all that, I say to them, if I ever was really going to commit suicide, I would phone the arms unit of the police, and someone to them now and again would be like, don't say that. I'm like, why? But yeah, I mean, but the authority is, I mean, the arseholes have been Rob Davis Court and all that. They think it's fun to have people attack me, what. And while the other locals and all that are saying the authorities are dickheads, and I'm like, yep. I just go, yep. Welcome to here. Welcome to here. Welcome to Wales, where we got the most dickhead authorities going in Britain. And the thing is, before my mum passed away from her illness and stuff like that, when she had rheumatoid arthritis and other things, and she said to me, Paul, I feel sorry for you that you've got to deal with the authorities to find a place, because this is my mum's space before she died, and I just came in, looked after her, and it got passed on to me, and it's not good for my legs, nothing like that, and I've been trying to find a new place since, from all the bullshit I've been part of us. I've been trying to get a new flat, because the flat, that's all I need. You know what I mean? This home is too big for me. You know what I mean? I need like a proper, just one ground floor, because going up and down the stairs, my legs are bleeding, and even the doctors have looked at and they agree. You know what I mean? I got 250 points now, but I'm not trying to do it that way. I mean, I've been designing and stuff like that, so I can get myself into a proper place and everything else. And but I notice the authorities don't want me to succeed. They don't want me to. Sorry guys, if I'm looking down, look at my laptop here. I got my other laptop streaming, but there I'm going to. I mean, and for some reason this laptop's going, we are not going to show you. So okay, we'll reboot you, little fucking arson, so I can see what's really going on my channel. Anyway, what I could do is use the phone. Let me just use the phone and see if I'm coming through. And this laptop hasn't got a battery in it. I mean, I got to get a brand new battery for it, because the battery died basically, and I've got a pain in the ass as well. Yeah, I mean, she's a good pain in the ass, but she's feeling down at the moment as well, and she was like saying to me that she wanted to end it and all that, and I was like, yes, you're not ending it, because you'd be a hypocrite if you end it and all that. So she's struggling with bills and stuff like that, like most people are, and she just wanted to end and all that, and I was like, no, we'll get through this, don't worry about it. But for some reason, what's this? 5:45 a.m. Oh yeah, she was phoning me this morning. Um, but since then, we sorted a few things out. Yeah, because she's got like a horde of people attacking her and stuff like that. You know what I mean? A lot of Zionists are going after her and stuff like that. And I've stepped in and basically put my pennies worth in. You know what I mean? And the Zionists have backed off a little bit. I don't mind, stepping in. I'm used to of having hordes and hordes and hordes and hordes of whores coming after me. I mean hordes and hordes of Zionist Masons and all that coming after me. I'm used to it. I mean, I've had it all my life. You know what I mean, so like people, they sort of like they like play snooker all life. It's just natural. They're like, oh, okay, or rugby. To me, it's Masons and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, okay. Even the neighbours near me, I mean, they notice the police. They get close to here, they slow down, and the police car just then drives off again. And people are going, "Why don't they just leave that guy alone?" And I'm like, "Nah, it's fun. I don't mind." I was gonna put down local. I've been watching a lot of local live and stuff. And I've been checking out Nightmare and Steak stuff as well. There we go. I am thinking of building up a community, guys. What do you reckon? You know what I mean? What you guys reckon? I mean, that's why I built the Discord up and all. But I checked a YouTube video about a week ago, about 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago, and I sat down and put this together and all that because let's hit this. Right. Well, we could no, we go about 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago, and I sat down and put this together. Right. Now we're gonna test something. Will I lag when I go to a different thing? Let's see. Right. Now we're gonna test something. Will I lag? Will I lag when I go to no. Hold on a minute. So on this lesser device I've been on and all that, I've been thinking, will I lag going in between things and all that? So obviously not. Yeah. Do you know one of the things I would love to do, guys? Yeah, I mean, but I need to get a better setup before you know. I've actually have got a better setup, but it's in flipping storage right now. Because I won't bring that out unless I've basically got a permanent home and all that. But then again, I may have to set up operations. You know what I mean, because the way things are going, because of the government are deliberately. Let me get my food in, guys, and I'll be right back, guys. I will not be long. You know what I mean, no chasing gremlins now, right, guys? Oh, look at that, guys. I got my cum all over the sausage. Nah, it's sour cream. But yeah, so let's test. True to you. The picture I got on my laptop. And if you guys knew whose picture I got on my laptop. Mm-hmm. There we go. Right. Let's watch something, shall we? Bugs Bunny. Right. Let's watch this one. The absurdity of things.
Hey, Lark and Rose here. Wearing a Jesus getting arrested by ICE shirt. So, in putting together the event Approaching Humanity and the book Approaching Humanity, I'm reminded that a whole lot of what the freedom movement focuses on makes us angry, and rightfully so, because there's lots of heinous, horrible things going on in the world. It's easy for people talking about such things, including myself, to show anger, to show rage even. And of course, it comes from the fact that we value innocence and freedom and things like that. Weirdly, this just came up in The Boys. The power to resist doesn't come from just random hatred for no particular reason. It comes from righteous resentment of people victimizing innocents and robbing people and all that. So, but however...
And yet people still, go along with authorities. They still pay the taxes, this, that, and so forth. Because, yeah, I mean, like he's pointed out, I pointed out to Sari and pointed out, and many others have pointed out, Enoch Crane, rest in peace, dude, and all the others pointed out that authorities, all they do is blackmail us and everything else. They never ask me, you, or anybody else, you know what I mean, do you want to pay taxes towards this? They just bully you and use mafia tactics and everything else. You know what I mean? And if we don't go along, they send in the thugs. You know what I mean? In this case, the police and the courts and all that. Anyway.
But however, that's the thing Walter Williams used to say all the time. What outside spectators often see if they're watching people in the movement giving talks, it's like, oh, you're so mad and you have all this rage and anger. And like the fact that it's totally justified, like doesn't change the fact that a lot of people are going to sort of feel the negative of like, oh, you're just sort of scary and anti something or other and mad about stuff. You must just be a mad person. And I get people commenting that all the time under my videos where I'm actually condemning some example of heinous authoritarian evil. And they're like, obviously, like, you have no fun. You're a miserable person. No, I'm not. Like, I'm not going to be cheerful and happy when I'm talking about, hey, look at this video of cops beating this person to death. Isn't that lovely? Yeah, going to be kind of pissed off about that. But no, I'm a perfectly happy person. And I love comedy and funny stuff. Well, a whole lot of comedy is stupid and not particularly funny. Be that as it may, the process of describing things from the positive, describing the alternative, which is what Approaching Humanity is going to do, the book and the event, July 18th. Get your tickets now. See the description below. Describing peaceful coexistence and the goodness of that is something most people in the movement don't usually do, myself included. This absolutely applies to me because I spend huge amounts of time criticizing and condemning all manner of authoritarian BS. and less time describing here's what there should be instead. Now, that's sort of inherent to the problem, because if what you see is, there's a rabid dog running around in the town, okay, but let's talk about all the people he hasn't bit and how lovely the weather is. Like, well, if there's a rabid dog running around biting people, that's probably going to be your focus, and it probably should be your focus until you do something about it. So it's not that there's something bad about focusing on the negative, but if that's all normal people hear from libertarians or anarchists or whatever, it can just...
I got a perfect example. A few years ago, guys, when I used to live up in Pontus, because we had a lot of people, in the UK, will be being called PDFs and all that and so forth. And so you had a vast mass of people being called it, those that are innocent and not innocent. So that meant then all the adults and all that, then when a child fell off a bike or something like that, the adults would be like, they just walk on and not help the kid. Well, I was like, hey kid, go on, off you go. I didn't give a shit. If I see someone falling on the ground or this, that's it, I'll help them up. Everything else, But, and that's the problem, there's been this thing where people don't do anything now to solve the problem these days, and all of that, and this is why we are like further and further going down into dark times, because so much stuff has been diluted because of so many things at the moment, so much mixing, so much lies, so much going on. People don't know what's real anymore or what's true anymore. So, and so when people bring up a solution, then people are like, "Is that going to work?" Well, we're not going to know unless we try it. And I'm that type of person, like now upstairs, I got potatoes growing and this, that, and everything else. But also you got to watch that you don't tell people about certain things as well. If you say to people you've got like 4,000 tins of food, when society collapses, whoop, those 4,000 tins are gone in a day. I haven't got that many, thank God. I got about 60. That's it. And those will be gone in a couple of weeks anyway. But anyway, but the thing is, it's being an example and all of that. And I got that type of mixer that he's got there. In storage. Nice. Anyway, but anyway, let's move on.
Sort of reinforce the notion, you're just malcontents, angry and whatever, and you'll never be satisfied. You're just bitter. If you don't like this country, then go find a better slave plantation to live on. So it's easy for them to be dismissive because they don't know what's being suggested instead. And so in putting together both the book and the event, I noticed there's a lot of funny stuff in it. And humor is a positive emotion. It's a good thing. And statism, if you break it down to the things that we are expected to believe and state them honestly and literally, they're batshit loony. They're just utterly ridiculous. They're utterly absurd. I could give a few examples here. Like, okay, here's how democracy works. A bunch of people get together, some of them who don't have the right to rule the rest, do weird rituals, and then, pating, out of thin air, they somehow fabricate the right to violently dominate the minority, and they give that right to government. It's like, you really believe? And as another example, legislators, the past bill, House Bill 852, it's in committee and they're debating it and they're adding this addendum and then it goes to the Senate and blah, 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 blah. Bunch of words come out the other side. Ta-da, morality changed. Politicians scribbled a bunch of bullshit, and most people literally believe that morality changed because they believe obeying the law is good. If you believe obeying the law is good and the law changes, it means you think that being good what you have to do to be good just changed. Because some mere mortals, in fact, some of the worst people in the world, did these weird-ass rituals and passed something they called law. Well, now morality's different. Like on this side of this line, you're allowed to have this plant. On that side, you're not. Oh, wait, something changed. Now you are. Now you're good. You were evil for doing the exact same thing yesterday, but legislation happened and stuff. Now you're good. And if you describe it in those terms, it's just batshit loony. It's ridiculous. And so we're going to, one of the things that I haven't seen it.
My turn. Right, and to all you people out there that's like, oh, you got to follow the law. I bring something like this up onto my old Spreaker.com account in the past. And let me just wipe my hands for a second. And it's basically this. Yeah, I mean, some of you have heard me use the train analogy in the past. I've also got another one, right? Get ready to be made uncomfortable, a lot of you out there that are taxpayers and think you're law-abiding. And laws are meant to be broken as well. A lot of police now just go, huh? So basically it's this. I mean, anybody out there that wants children to be safe and all that and everything else, would agree, children must be safe, as long as children don't go around killing other children and all that. Otherwise, those then kids or children will have to go to the young offenders. So, let's put it this way, right? If a grown-up went up to a child and basically did some really bad shit and all that, we can't say what on here, but let's say they did some real bad shit, right? We can't use the actual wording because of YouTube, right? And right now, those not the adults and all that, a lot of them do end up going to the bar center known as prison. And what if, right? All you people, oh yeah, that's right. Oh, I'm a law abiding for that. Yeah. What if tomorrow somebody in Parliament or Congress wrote down and saying PDFs can go ahead and do whatever they want because it's lawful? How many of you then would be law-abiding then? How many of you they'd be, oh no, that's wrong, and you get up marching and you're going after the PDFs and all of that and start killing them in Minecraft? Think about it. So what's your line before you're not law-abiding, following other people's rules and legislations and all that, which actually Congress and Parliament and royals, the monarchies and all of that and so forth are just people putting their views forward and making it legislation that we must follow, when we've got the perfect thing to follow, and that is the divine, where you don't murder anybody. But we see people in Parliament that order people to go and murder people all the time. It's called war. So they're going against God's judgment and everything else. Think about that.
Any other events, we're going to do a number of short little skits where we basically act out the things that represent the insanity that you have to believe in order to accept the notion of authority, whether it's democracy or having an obligation to ignore your own judgment or whatever. And it occurs to me again there that Gandhi is often misquoted. Pretty sure this quote isn't something he actually said, but he's quoted all the time, of saying, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. And Gandhi probably didn't say that, but it's still true and it's still profound that when there's little uppity rebels going, hey, we don't like the king, we don't like the ruling class, we don't like the whoever is in charge, first it's like, you're too trivial, we're not even going to mention you, which they did that a long time with voluntarists because there's not that many. We're just going to pretend you don't even exist. Because to respond to you might make people like pay attention and listen to the exchange. And we, the psychopaths in ruling class, don't want that. We don't want people listening to the actual back and forth of ideas and people saying, maybe you should be free instead of bowing to psychopaths. So we're going to pretend you're not there. Well, it grows and grows and grows. And then they're like, oh, these silly people, these silly, immature, just childish, ridiculous people who don't want to bow down to psychopaths.
Don't forget, guys, if you're, I'm warming up these days, because I got to get sharper. I got to warm up and everything else. And if you like me looking at Lark and Rose videos and other people's videos and all of that, and I don't come across with like a polished stone version, I just say what's ever on my mind. If you like that, feel free to subscribe. Also, I do have a coffee account, and I do sell cups with this on as well. I do have a WW Network coffee account. I better put that in. Coffee, buymeacoffee.com/WW Network, all that jazz, And I do sell cups like this. Don't worry, they're not covered in coffee stains, up on Spreadshirt, and also, because Spreadshirt doesn't let me put all my designs up in there. It goes, you cannot be having that design. That's offensive to our community. And I respond back, who's your community? It isn't the public. They go, oh, shut up. Is it the globalists? Is it people like the technocrats like Bill Gates and all those wankers? Shut up. Why? So I've set up like Teespring stuff as well and all that. So whatever didn't get up on the Spreadshirt, I just whacked it on my dark, fun TV sort of thing over there on the Teespring. But anyway, I'm looking for other decent merch stores to use as well, and I'm learning to draw better and better as well. So hopefully, I can have like a skeleton fighting a dragon one day. Hi-yo! But anyway, let's continue.
Psychopathic, like predatory, evil pieces of crap. Yeah, so silly of us. So they ignore you, then they laugh at you, and then they fight you. Like when you become enough of a threat to the status quo that they have to come out and we're going to stomp on you. Maybe it'll be a fight with words where we're going to demonize you and slander you and do all this, false flag crap and all over the place. And recently you see Trump's thing of anarchists. Gotta watch out for those anarchists. They're terrorists. You got to stomp them out. You got to do it. And so the fact that they mentioned the word anarchist now, and that was mostly in the context of left-wing terrorists, like, okay, anarchism isn't left-wing, despite the anarcho-commies that haven't figured that out. Be that as it may, so now they're in the fight stage of that, and then eventually the uppity rebels win. Yay! Hopefully. But it occurs to me that there's a backwards version of that we do against the state and should do, and it's really dang effective, which is the other way around. First, we fight them, whether it's disobey and resist in whatever way people can. Sometimes it's just, I'm going to quietly disobey. Sometimes it's, I'm going to do civil disobedience, where I'm not going to do what you say and you're going to cage me and I'm going to let you. Sometimes it's, I'm not going to do what you say, and when you try to cage me, horrible things are going to happen to you. So there's the fight, but there is a stage, and the fighting kind of keeps going through all these stages. But there's a stage, and we are very much there right now, where society is perfectly happy with everyone making fun of the damn ruling class because they're ridiculous clowns. Now, they're also heinously evil and constantly just committing the most heinous atrocities you can imagine. So sometimes it's hard to laugh about, like when you're seeing an actual example of that.
I think you should laugh at it, no matter how heinous it is and all that, because I think, me personally, I think these arseholes out there do it because they know we go, if we just go, ha ha, look at these wankers, they think that scares us. Ha, look at these wankers, they think we're in fear. Ha ha, look at these wankers, you know what I mean? And we just turn up and just grab them and throw these idiots into the pit. You know what I mean? Then that would send a message. You know what I mean? Because on my Spreaker show, I mean, I've said some heinous shit, guys. That's why my friend in America likes what I do, because I just say it. You know what I mean? But I also use tactical as well, like YouTube. There'd be a lot of stuff that would get me banned if I said it outright. But then, what would that do? I would have a less of a reach. You know what I mean? So that's why, like when before I couldn't get into my Twitch account. You know what I mean? Because of what Microsoft is doing and all that, blocking people from getting in. So then if you lose your email account, you will lose a lot of stuff when you think about it. And that's why I've always, the stuff that I sign up to, I have separate email accounts. So if one started going down, I don't lose everything. You know what I mean? And which I did that about 25 years ago. I started thinking ahead. You know what I mean? To this day, you know what I mean? So I knew, I was like, this day will come. It's here, and I'm starting to lose stuff that I've signed up to, all because my emails are disappearing because I can't get in and all that. So, and this is you know what I mean? So where's the freedom when people are losing the emails that are linked to, like say the online stores, which they make money from, or it's linked to the YouTube account or linked to the Twitch account, and you may be an affiliate to a what's it, affiliate? I've forgotten the other term is, but you know what I mean, you make money and all of that, and so forth. Then you got to think to yourself, hold on a minute, what's going on? And then you look at them saying you're going to need a digital ID, this, that, and so forth, and then you can't sell things in a, you know what I mean, offline store, you know what I mean, and all that, and so on. So where is the freedom in that? You know what I mean? People haven't got a choice, have they? So, you know, freedom is about choice now. People haven't got a choice to make money and all of that, but they're being forced to be killed off. Come on, guys. We need to get our shit together and all of that. You know what I mean? People around here are seeing like the stuff that I get up to and all that, and I warn people about certain things. You know what I mean? Do you know I was one of the first people around here going around, put up posters and all of that in my neck of the woods about a cashless society, and many other things. You know what I mean? And I would be walking with my trolley, you know, because I don't drive. I would walk my trolley, I have things on the side and all of that. I mean, and I would have it got to the point where I had like an LED advertiser on it as well. So I'd go around with that. And that trolley now is up in storage, and I've got a nice little big bugger over there, you know what I mean? Which I got to figure out how I'm going to connect advertising thing, because I need like a perspex, but it's got clamps. I need something like that so that I can slide posters in and out of it and all that. So I'm looking for something like that right now. But yeah, people, they know I speak out. They know that I'm one of the few around here that is speaking out, despite one family member. It's like, you don't speak out. You don't know what's going on. And then another family member turns around and goes, actually, he does know what's going on. And every time I throw stuff over to him, I would throw stuff to me. He's like, yeah, I've checked that. There's also this that goes with it. And it's like, it's like, you know, there's stuff that I don't know. You know what I mean? So one person, there's loads of stuff I don't know. I tell people that there is loads of stuff, but because I've been researching 20, 30 years, somebody who's just gotten into it, it's like, well, okay, he knows about that. Okay, he knows about that. Okay, he knows about that. But somebody who's been in it longer than me, or is a better researcher, I'd be like, thank you, I need that. I mean, that's the thing, you gotta be humble as well, which I am. I mean, but unfortunately, the people we're getting and trying to get the message out to, they've been watching so many programs by the mainstream, by the elites, by the controlled opposition, that gets into the mind, makes them egotistical, makes them prideful, makes them on so many levels where they're like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, I'm like, yeah, yeah, I know that, but check this out. Yeah, I mean, because then I'm hoping when they checking things out and so forth, they'll come back with stuff that I don't know. You know what I mean? Because you only grow by knowing about stuff that you didn't know to begin with. You know what I mean? So yeah, unfortunately, I've come up against somebody. I mean, in the last 2 years, they've got like over 560,000 followers, but they're arrogant. They are very egotistical, very prideful, and everything else. And they like said to me, "I got a bigger following." You know, ha 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 ha. And I just go, "What would Jesus do?" You know what I mean? I've told him. I said, even Jesus' day. You know what I mean? Yes, he had a following, but the authorities know it had a larger following. You know, a lot. You know, there was far more people doing sinful shit than those following Jesus. And I turned on to him. I'd rather be like Jesus. You know what I mean? Either be on my own or have small following that we all work together to know the truth for this, that, and everything else. Break free from the lies, that the slavery as best we can, and all of that. And then having, I mean, masses upon masses upon masses of people that are into lies, deceit, and all of that, and we go along with that. No, I'd rather go, wherever the truth takes us, whatever that is. You know what I mean? We mustn't dictate where we go. We just let the truth dictate to us. And a lot of people are actually uncomfortable about it, because I've seen things which made my skin crawl, but I still went, I need to know this. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people, they, not all, because there's always a percentage that don't want to look, and there will always be a percentage that will look, and you will have those in between that are like lukewarm, like, I put a foot in here and a foot in there. You know what I mean? So, but those days where you're sitting on a fence are gone. They're long gone. You know what I mean? Right now, the fence is being used as firewood to cook food off. Here, I've got the wood. There we go. Frying some bacon. Lovely jubbly. Anyway, let's get back into this.
But the whole circus, the whole political show is just patently stupid, and more people are seeing that. I mean, back when it was Trump against Hillary, like, I was constantly making fun of the fact that, really, your awesome system, your democratically elected constitutional republic, ended up giving you these two pieces of human excrement as your choices of who will rule the world. Of course, neither of them would really have power anyway, but most people don't know that. That's what your system gave you to choose from. I mean, South Park, what is it? A douche and a turd sandwich, I believe, were the candidates. It's like, yeah, that's a fine example of making fun of this stupid system that, look at what our choices are. That's ridiculous. And there is power in laughing at them. In fact, there is massive power at laughing at them. I can talk. In this particular example, because the entire notion of authority is they're above us. Oh, the president and the congressman and all those important people maybe we can disagree with their policies, but we have to bow down and obey the law and follow the rules. And now it's to the point where huge numbers of people on the left, on the right, everywhere in between, obviously anarchists everywhere, totally making fun of it. Like, you're all lying, ridiculous crooks. We don't believe any of you. And that is massively powerful, because that takes away from them the sort of gravitas, we're important, we're superior beings, Your Honor. Like the fact that you're in a courtroom, here's this lying imbecile wearing a black dress behind a big wooden desk, wielding a hammer, and you're supposed to talk to him as if he's frickin' royalty. You're just a dumbass. Like, I had a trial, and the judge in my case, Michael Bailson, was a fucking idiot. He said several things about the law about the income tax that were blatantly, obviously wrong, and that literally he said them while a Supreme Court quote was on the screen next to him as an exhibit, showing that he was totally frickin' wrong. He doesn't know a damn thing. But if I didn't call him honorable, I get put in a cage for contempt of court. Anybody who doesn't have contempt for our courts by now, there's something wrong with you. But they're like requiring people to pretend to have respect. And the best thing that Trump accidentally did is make the whole respect thing completely fall apart. Like, he was completely disrespectful to the Democrats, which I'm all in favor of. And then everybody was completely disrespectful to the fascist idiots supporting him, which I'm all in favor of. So that's a very positive thing. But when you make fun of him, like, you can't revere someone as your rightful lord and master while you're snickering about what a dumbass he is. It doesn't psychologically match. They fall out of the role of the people we look up to and who make humanity work. Like, how many people still think that that's true of anyone in government? So laughing at them is really powerful. And eventually we get to, then we ignore them. When enough of us laugh at them and go, you're all just full of shit. We don't need to vote.
Guys, I unmuted this, right? But I didn't unmute the... I didn't realize that I accidentally hit the mute button on my OBS studio. So I give that thing, talk about a couple of things, and yeah. Oh well.
New slime ball in. We're just not giving you our money. We're not obeying you. You can try to enforce it, but there's enough of us now that, like, even if we don't resist, even if we don't fight back, there's no way in hell you're going to enforce it all. Like the Gandhi version of, we're just all going to go get salt from the sea. You can beat the hell out of us, but there are so many of us, you're literally going to get worn out beating the crap out of people who aren't fighting back until you lose. And Gandhi said that's what would happen. Now, I'm not a pacifist, as you may have noticed. If that many people said, we're getting salt, and if you mess with us, we're going to knock you the fuck out, I think that would have ended it faster. But there's like PR and what it looks like to other people and all that. Be that as it may, when enough people ignore them, as I've said a million times, the regime falls apart. They don't have the power to actually enforce it on any more than a tiny minority of the population. But that in-between stage of laughing at them, which we're at, and I mean, some of us have been for a long time, making fun of them, is really dang important. And that's why, you know, all the people...
I don't know what he means by that. I haven't been making fun of them for a long time. What? You know what I mean? I mean, I haven't been calling Benjamin Netanyahu a milkshake, or when Queen Elizabeth II was alive, I was going, hey, let's get into your dungeon for a weekend. Actually, yeah, I mean, you lot call her Queen Elizabeth II. I used to call her Black Betty. Hey, Black Betty, let's get into your dungeon, family. But anyway, you know what I mean? Because you know what I mean, nothing wrong getting down with a dragon. But that's why you know, Charles. You know what I mean? Charles of the UK has got big ears because his family are dragons, and he can fly here, there, and everywhere like Chimbo the Jet Set. Anyway, I had a laugh a few years ago as well. When I was on Speaker.com one night, and before I did my own show, and somebody said to me, "Hey, you know, we'd like to come on my show and all that," and I was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll pop on," and because they could tell I've got a British accent, well, a Cameroonite accent, you know, Cymru accent and all that, they're like, you're from Britain, so uh, so you must support the royal family and all that. And I was like, oh boy. Doesn't he realize I'm from Cymru? You know what I mean? And I went full hog. I said, no, I don't fucking support those PDFs and all that, right? And I think this was around about 213, you know, about 212, 213. And and the person who asked the question, they're from America, you know what I mean? And there was about something Bong show it called. It was back, you know, on Spreaker. The Andy Bong show, that's it. And and there was a good few Americans in there, and they were stunned what was coming out of my mouth. You know what I mean? I said the trouble with the royal family is they use children like a ventriloquist uses a doll and all that. You know what I mean? Uses a puppet and all that. They put their hands in every fucking orifice, which these wank stains need to be wood chipped and all that. You know, have a wood chipper, and I just went off on one. You know what I mean? By the time I finished, the Americans in there, if I could see their faces, it'd probably be like that. You know? And then me and Andy, we just moved on to the next subject. You know, we moved on to the next subject of bullying. And the thing is, as well, and the thing is, one of the people that asked me the question was actually bullying Andy Bong. That's why he brought me on it, because he knows I'll be direct and just say it what needs to be said. You know what I mean? So his bullies didn't like my answer. I mean, not everybody in that stream that night was a bully, you know. And the majority of them were just the audience happily listening. You know what I mean? But yeah, I bet the bully had a shock what I said. And then when the show was finishing and all that, Andy Bung said, you know what I mean, don't forget to go and check out the Lion Heart and all that. And I mean, he's straightforward, he's direct, and he's toned it down for my show, by the way, guys. I mean, and I was like, you're welcome. And because, I mean, I stopped doing that because Spreaker, you know, stopped doing live option not that long ago. So I like being live mainly, you know, because I think it's more fun. And if anything goes wrong, you get to see it straight away. You know what I mean? You don't have to wait for me to upload it. If anything goes wrong, hey, it's, you know, part of the course. You know what I mean? So there I am. You know what I mean? You know, I left his show. I went off. You know, I mean, did mine. Had like an hour break, and had a coffee and all that and so forth. And you know, I mean, and then jumped on and, you know, started the Metalingus. You know what I mean? You know, do you think, you know, was it you think you know me sort of thing? And we got down to business. You know what I mean? I did another 5 hours. You know what I mean? And then I jumped over then after that and did my Twitch stream. So, but yeah, you know what I mean? Hold on, this might be my RAM. Sally, hold on, guys, hold on. No, this might actually be another friend of mine. Hold on, let me just check this. Hold on. Let play this while I do this.
Memes making fun of all that crap. That's actually important. Like, lots of people can just look at it and sort of chuckle. They may not be having deep philosophical thoughts in response to some meme making fun of the ruling class. But the more the like reverence and respect for these parasitical pieces of crap, the more that falls apart, the better. And you can't deeply respect someone while you're laughing at them. Like, at them, not with them. Hey, you evil bastards in power. We're not laughing with you. We're laughing at you. You're evil psychos. We also hate you because you're, well, some of us try not to hate. I try not to hate. I fail. I hate some of them because they're evil psychopaths who victimize innocents and commit war crimes and stuff. Be that as it may. Whether you hate them or just really, really, really want to deprive them of the power to keep victimizing innocents, either way, it's a big step to get to where almost nobody respects them. And we have just been careening towards that recently. Even among statists, if you have a bunch of...
Yeah, she's just telling me, not Maramis, is somebody else. Because her brother just died recently and all of that. And yeah, she's had to pay for his cremation, and now it's just, wiped her out. So... I don't know what's going to happen to her, because I'm wiped out as well, many ways as well. So that's the thing that people think, because you're on YouTube and all that and everything else, they think you got loads of money. I mean, I struggled to get a caramel bar yesterday. Just saying. But anyway, let's continue.
Statists who, they still believe in government, they still believe in law, they're still arguing about which crook they want up there. But when they see it as a joke and everybody's making fun of it, and they don't, like it used to be, like, you don't mock the president. It's like, oh, this cartoonist made this disrespectful...
Really? Don't mock the president? Why does the president look like, a suction doll for car windows and all of that? Just saying. You know what I mean? Like, we used to do that for Mick Jagger, with his lips and all that. You could throw Mick Jagger and his lips will make sure he lands safely on a window. But anyway.
Cartoon, and we cannot have that. He must be fired immediately. Now, South Park. Like, we've come a long way from you made a slightly insulting cartoon about a politician, and that was a step too far, to South Park. As one example of many. But I think it's very useful, which is why there's actually going to be a number of funny things in Approaching Humanity and the book and the event, because making fun of them while still condemning them, like we're not downplaying the harm that they're capable of doing and the harm that they are doing on a regular basis, but to also be able to laugh at them is very disempowering for the people who want to be perceived as authority. We have the right to rule you. That's what authority means. Well, if everyone views them as stupid clowns, then even if they haven't philosophically figured it out yet, it's kind of hard for them to really imagine inside their own head, yeah, that idiot, babbling, moronic buffoon, he's my rightful lord and master. He has the right to dominate me, and I'm obligated to obey, even though he's a colossal moron. Like, that's a difficult thing to hold both of those things in your head at the same time. So even if people haven't gotten to the philosophical thinking about it stage, the laughing at them is really dang important. So we're having a number of ways in which we totally make fun of them. And so also it's just... laughter's the best medicine. So said Reader's Digest, going back 8 zillion years. Oh, you whippersnappers are like, Reader's Digest? What are you talking about? Well, back in my day, there was this little magazine and had a part of it called Laughter is the Best Medicine. But it is, and it's encouraging, and it sort of contributes to, like, if I can talk to, whether it's a Democrat or Republican or whatever, and we're both laughing at the ruling class together, even though they're still statist, and we're talking about that, and by questions we're walking through their belief system. But if we both laugh at like, these ridiculous crooks, we don't really believe in them. We don't even really believe in the one we voted for. We just think he may be less heinous than the other one. But it's all just a ridiculous joke. That is empower. It creates this sort of psychological camaraderie. Like, yeah, we both know that's ridiculous. And maybe we disagree about the solution and what should be happening and stuff. But that is so empowering to the people having the discussion and disempowering to the psychopaths who claim the right to rule the world, that I think it's important to do more flippant stuff. And like Amanda and I have done a few, like we did one called Election Day a number of years back. And we've done a few others. And there will be, like I said, a few short little flippant skits. Like, we're not trying to put on a comedy show. But there's little tidbits where one of the best ways to illustrate the insanity of the authoritarian crap that we're all taught and expected to believe is to illustrate them bluntly and honestly and openly, not with all the euphemisms and spin and crap that they're usually delivered with to make people not notice how patently absurd it all is, but letting the absurdity shine through so people go, yeah, that is kind of ridiculous. Why do we believe this crap? So anyway, I thought I'd do a quick thing about how important it is to point out the absolute absurdity. Yeah, we can spend plenty of time, and I still will spend plenty of time pointing out the evil and the injustice and the horribleness, but there's also just laughably stupid crap that you have to believe in political authority. And I think making fun of that is a good sort of fun way to get people started thinking about it in a way they're not threatened. They don't feel like they're being lectured at. They're not being screamed at. They're not just seeing some angry rage bait video of someone screaming. It's making fun of something that we can all recognize. Yeah, how many comedians are making fun of politicians constantly because they're such an easy target? But I think that's a good thing. So in between condemning the evil, we will absolutely be pointing out and making fun of the absurdity that you have to believe in to think that government is real and to support it at all. So, July 18th, Approaching Humanity. We have to quick figure out the venue in the next couple of days. Probably Sedona, maybe Prescott, as Rizonia. But the link below will show how to get pre-order tickets. The price will eventually go up from where it is now, but you can pre-order already, and then we'll give you updates and details on where it's going to be and all that. It's going to be an all-day event, probably 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., although the last few hours will probably be relaxing, hanging out, music, and fun stuff. But a very condensed and entertaining and fun program, but also informative and thought-provoking, will be the rest of the schedule, not including lunch and stuff. So get your tickets. And yes, eventually we will post it for the Rose Channel subscribers, and we'll be posting bits and pieces as YouTube videos. But for the whole thing, the recorded version will probably just be for subscribers to the Rose Channel. By the way, if you've been a subscriber to the Rose Channel for a while, you get in free to the Approaching Humanity event. You can see the details. Basically, if you've been a subscriber for more than a year, you get in free. If you haven't, but you've been a subscriber for a while, you can get a deal where it's sort of what you've paid so far goes towards the price of blah, blah, blah. Details will be below. And for anybody else, be there because it will be awesome. July 18th, Approaching Humanity, even with humor. Yeehaw.
And that's one thing that I've done as well for years and all of that is when I done my podcast, going far back to the first year on flipping YouTube even. Yeah, I mean, before, that channel, my very first YouTube channel and all that, before that got absolutely taken and all of that, you know what I mean? So, and back then I used to have a Golden Girls type music going on with the Iraq flag and the few things and hearts, as the image while going live, and speaking out against back then Tony Blair and all of that and so forth, you know what I mean? And I just kept going, over the years. But then things in my local life took precedent, and then I just did things mainly by posters. You know what I mean? Because people always said to me, why haven't I got a large following on the internet and all that if I've been going so long? Because I've been doing things on a poster level more than anything else. You know what I mean? And I used to have whywills.com before that got taken from me. Two whywills, one whywills.com and the other one whywills.wordpress.com. So every time when I was with what was that company, Tripod. So every time Tripod would go down, and they would go down quite frequently, I noticed, I would always have my Wales WordPress to still get stuff out, you know what I mean? And so I moved over to SiteGround recently, you know what I mean? Back in 2022. And then in 2024, I met somebody, and then I had like Zionists and that hacked into my bank, and then I lost wywheels.com. You know what I mean? So, and I helped her out because the Zionists were being, arseholes. You know what I mean? But yeah. So I did that, helped her out with everything else. But the thing is, as well, I mean, she's struggling financial wise as well and everything else, right? And I said to her, I mean, I'm going to be jumping up, on my stream doing things no matter what. You know what I mean? How's about you get your ass on my live stream and basically, I mean, you put out what you need to put out. She's like, no. And I'm like, oh. I was going to draw a picture of her, you know what I mean? Like, you see her, dress is normal, but then draw her in the style of a horse as well. Like the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I thought, bear that. She's going through a lot. And she knows I got dark sense of humor. She would laugh, but I don't think her fan base would find it funny. But yeah, I just put a new video up over as well on the Tik Tok. I know a lot of people have this stupid mindset where they're like, oh, that's TikTok, oh, that's Instagram, oh, that's YouTube, oh, that's BitChute, oh, that's, so they don't go on them. But the thing is, how are we supposed to reach people if you're so busy being like, oh, I don't like that one? But yet, if you're the person that could reach that extra person that we need? You know what I mean? This is what I don't get with these idiots. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, that's TikTok. Oh, they're crazy over it. I'm on TikTok. And I'm speaking about, against the technocrats and all of that. I'm on here. I'm on elsewhere. I'm all over the place. You know what I mean? And I mean, I've got my Rumble account, which is also called Warrior Wales. You know what I mean? And I've got like, I've probably been on Rumble for about a year and a half now, actively. Despite I did have a Rumble account up there earlier, because people were saying, I'm over here, we're about to go live. We're going to be talking about the Palestine thing and all of that. So I thought, okay, I'll jump across. You know what I mean? And I thought, wait a minute, I've got Rumble accounts. Maybe I should use one of them. Yeah, I got Pleasurable over there, I got Boy Wheels over there, I got quite a few over there, you know what I mean? I thought, wait a minute, I'm just mindlessly creating these accounts and I'm not using any of them. Let's use one. So I've created like an umbrella under the Boy Wheels name. So there's Boy Wheels, and then you'll see there's like subcategories under that name. You know what I mean? You'll have tech you dumb. In other words, the smart tech isn't smart, it's dumb. It's surveillance and everything else. You've also got like human farming. Where you got the leads, farming humanity. All that sort of thing. You've got God's people, which is basically actually me taking the piss out of the Zionists. Anyway, you got that over there. You know what I mean? So there's loads of different channels over there. There's 19 pages worth of videos now since I started about a year and a half ago. You know what I mean? This project of having an umbrella and then all these sub-channel groups and all of that. So, I mean, and yet I've been at this for over like 25 to 30 odd years now, speaking out and everything else. And it takes time as well. That's the thing. I'm using a lot of electric, which I'm not getting paid to speak out or nothing like that. You know, I mean, because the information is going to be out there. But again, I still got bills to pay. I still got to eat. I still got to, I mean, do all sorts. You know what I mean? And I have police laughing like, "Oh, you're creating T-shirts, ha 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 ha." You haven't sold one. Actually, I've actually sold cups and T-shirts. You know what I mean? Nothing on the level to sustain me, but yeah, I mean, like I've had like a £10 year, payout, a £20 there every 6 or 7 months sort of thing. You know what I mean? But it's helped. You know what I mean? This is the thing. It's like somebody I helped out yesterday. I sent them £16. I said, "Does that help?" And they went, "Not really." And I'm like, "But you're £16 closer to your goal." You know what I mean? Some people are not grateful. Somebody gave me a penny before. I went, "Oh, thanks, brilliant," and show off. I'm happy. I mean, and I kept that penny. By the way, you know, the penny now is in the kitchen and all that, right? Because I firmly believe, as long as you got money around you, it will generate more money. I mean, I haven't got like millions of pounds or nothing, but money just constantly keeps coming now. I mean, I don't have this belief like a lot of people have. Like, I mean, you've got to have money to be rich. No, you just be rich. You know, a rich mindset, rich in knowledge, rich in in loving, caring, and all of that. You know, and don't have this finite view on money as well. You know what I mean? Like I said to somebody recently, abundance is always there. You just got to tap into it. And they're like, "I never thought of it that way." Yeah, it may not be in your hands and all that, but the abundance is out there. You just got to tap into it. And they looked at me like, "Oh." So, and the thing is, well, the government, they want this part of a corporation. And so this is where you look at benefits and all of that, which is really slave money to keep people quiet. Anyway, benefits though, from the government and all of that, which actually money from the banking cartels to keep people quiet. By the way, I haven't shut up, so. But the thing is, all money in this system is a form of benefit, right? People are like, but I'm in a job, I'm this, but it's still coming from the bank cartel that's paying you to beneficially stay away and not look at things. So it's still a benefit. To keep keep you and me as slaves within a Edomite type system, or a synagogue Satan system, or a debt slave system. You know what I mean? And so when the authorities found out, people like myself, and especially me, when I was like trying to get out from the system, I had mental health teams and all that coming to my door and saying, "We don't like what you've been speaking, and we don't like your ideology." And I'm like, "I don't like you drugging disabled people and beating them up." But anyway. And like Swansea Police Station, that strips disabled people and all that because they think they're gods over everybody else, because they think they got a corporation known as UK Parliament and the PDF King of the UK ruling over the people, or treating everybody as slaves. They think they can go around and use mafiadom type tactics on the people of the UK. But I feel like Frederick Douglass. And some days, like, you try to warn people, but then you end up getting beaten up. You know what I mean? And the thing is, as well, to be ruled over and all that. So if somebody's will over your will, that's slavery. So the police force, all the police forces are breaking the law against humanity. If we're all against slavery, then why do we have governments? Why do we have police forces? Why do we have military? Why do we have so many things that are ruling over us? Monarchy and all of that. You know what I mean? Israel. And when it's been Israel attacking the UK, United States of America, I mean the other countries, Palestine and so forth, for many years, when we know it's Israel that did the Twin Towers. A lot of us know that. But anyway, I'll shoot off because this is supposed to be a tester, and I've done over an hour and 20 odd minutes. Whoopsies. I'll be back later, guys, to do the proper one, but for now, let's lead up with the outro. And just remember, you know what I mean, 2 fingers for victory, right? 2 fingers for victory when it comes to the authorities, right? Divine, love you, dude. Anyway, let's go.
Your face is a